What's going on, fish nerds? Carlos here. Let's go over into the fish room because I need to rescape a tank and I've got something pretty cool I want to show you guys. Alright, so this is a tank we have not seen in a while. This is the 29-gallon Hemichromis Moanda tank, and you'll notice you don't see the fish in here. They are all hiding right now. Unfortunately, I did recently lose the female. There's a bristlenose popping out of that cave there. And, you know, when I lost her, for whatever reason, the male kind of went nuts. I don't know if I lost her because he went nuts or if he went nuts because she's gone. But he's now usually buried up in this cave over here that he created by knocking this rock down. But I said a while ago, I've really gotten tired of this general scape. It's just one big thick pile of rocks, and want to make it, you know, something a little more like this. You know, this is a lot more just kind of neat and natural looking, just, you know, a little scattered, whereas these, it looks like a guy piled up rocks, because that's exactly what happened. What I had been going for though in this tank was I was trying to create some caves, and a lot of this has collapsed over time, but I was trying to, you know, create natural caves and really close them in so my pair of Hemichromis would be able to, you know, breed in there, and Fry would have a place to hide and get away from everything. You got a cave in there, which that was a lot more open before that was there. You know, and there's another cave up in there. But you know, it was a great idea in theory, and you know, initially I thought it looked good, but now I really don't think it looks good. You know, like that fell down there, and I think that looks better from falling down there than some of the other stuff that I did on purpose. So I kind of want to just tear all this out and just start over again. And I'm not gonna try to manually create the caves, because I actually have something else that I want to use here. So let me show you that real quick. So this here is actually a reptile cave that I picked up at a local pet supply chain. This is made by Exo Terra. You can find them on Amazon. I'll throw a link in the description. You know, they come in the small like this, and then they come in medium, which is a little bigger, and then large, which is, you know, pretty large. I'll throw links to all three sizes down in the description below for Amazon. But I picked this up at a local chain for like $6 something. I think this is $7.99 on Amazon with Amazon Prime. So still not bad, considering if you buy, you know, like the terracotta, you know, cichlid caves. If you go to like a name brand, and those are things are going to cost you like 15, 16 bucks for a good sized cichlid cave like this. And no, this is not intended for cichlids, but it'll 100% work. I mean, it's got one entry, which is just big enough for the cichlids that I'm working with. I mean, it's all hollow underneath there. This is a poly resin. This thing's actually pretty heavy, so it should actually sink really well. And I actually emailed Exo Terra to make sure, and they confirmed this is aquarium safe. And added bonus, since it is made to look like natural rock, you know, I'm gonna scatter some of these rocks around it, you know, maybe pile some up next to it or whatever, but it's not gonna look like a clay pot in my fish tank. It's not gonna look like arts and crafts time, but it'll still be just as effective, you know, as one of the clay cichlid caves. But I'll actually be able to still maintain the aquascape look that I'm going for. So step one for me is gonna, well, actually step one is gonna get all this duckweed out of here. Look at this. My duckweed actually got so thick that it killed itself out. It choked itself out because it got so thick up here. So I got all this dead duckweed up here. I need to pull all that out. You know, I'm getting some green spot algae on my glass. I got to scrape all that off. You know, so I might need to get a couple more of these knee-right snails like this guy over here. I've got 2 of them in here, but they're not quite getting the job done. But also, ideally, I want to get some more plants in here, you know, once I get all this cover of duckweed off. So that'll probably help a lot too. But need to pull all these rocks out of here And I've got 2 of these caves, get them placed in there where I want them, and then just start scaping around that and see where we end up. Alright, so I've pulled out a big portion of the rocks. There goes one of the upside down cats. I forgot to mention when I broke down the 55 gallon, the 2 upside down cats, I did put them in here as well. But I got a big portion of the rocks pulled out, did a little bit of gravel vacuuming, that's why the water is down, and I went ahead and gave the sponge filter a few good squeezes since we are already taking out the rocks that were built up around it. And that's what the cave's looking like. I may move it around, adjust it a little bit as I start putting rocks back in there, and I'm planning on putting another one over in this area here, possibly pointing in different directions. That way if people need to get away from each other, they can, and maybe the Hemichromis will take one cave and the upside down cats take the other. However they want to work that out among themselves, but that's the plan for now. So I'm probably going to go ahead and start working around this area before I tear the rest of this part down and redo it, see what I get going on over here. Alright, so I apologize for how cloudy this is. I've just got everything stirred up from where I've been picking up rocks and pulling them out of there and moving everything around and digging around in here. But here's what I've got going on over on this side. I realize it does still look like a lot of rock work over here, but I'm fine with that as long as it looks more natural than it did. And basically this time I'm not going near as high as I had been because I took the lift tube off the sponge and I was trying to hide it, so the rocks were like all the way up to here, almost touching that drip system overflow up there. And so it's much lower now, and I'm using nothing but larger rocks over here, whereas before I was using a bunch of little tiny rocks trying to fill in all the cracks to, you know, seal off some caves and stuff. And since I'm not worried about that, since I have this cave, I just use the larger rocks to just generally hide the sponge filter and just kind of form a nice natural looking formation, make sure everything's supported really good. And then I took this piece of wood and I turned it from the way it was, and it kind of arches over really nice, points up in that direction. I really like the way that wood ended up just kind of hugging over the rock work there. And honestly guys, you can't tell that that's not a real rock, that that's actually plastic, or not, it's poly resin. But yeah, you can't tell that that's a fake cave, guys. So that's really awesome. Got most of the rocks pulled out from over here, so I'm going to position the other cave over here, figure out where I want it, and then start positioning some rocks around there. Okay, so it's still cloudy as all get out. I mean, it's bad enough that I almost can't even tell what I'm doing in here. But got the other cave over here in this corner. You can see where I positioned the mouth of it there, and got rocks all stacked along it, kind of connecting them in the back to come back up on this side. Got a lot more open space over here than what we had before. And I think what I'm going to end up doing, I'm just going to let this sit overnight so all this cloudiness can die down. It's already getting pretty late anyway. And then I will come back tomorrow, see if any adjustments need made, and give you guys a better update when this is actually viewable. But so far from what I can tell, I think I'm going to be pretty happy with this. But we'll see. Alright, day 2, water is all cleared up. And I'm actually pretty happy with the way this turned out. I do want some more plants. I'm gonna possibly get some Anubias going on up here, you know, on top of the rocks. But as far as how the rock piles themselves look, I'm really happy with it. Looks a lot more natural. It's not just crammed stuffed with a bunch of little rocks trying to fill every little nook and cranny. Just more of a natural rock pile look. And I'm really happy with these caves, because honestly, you can't even tell that there's something there that's not actually real. I mean, that right there looks like just as much rock as that does. I know it's fake, you know it's fake, but it doesn't detract from the scape the way that I feel like, you know, a ceramic pot, you know, like a clay pot, the terracotta cichlid caves, I feel like would have been a lot harder to make it look natural with this kind of setup. And these just really worked out well. I mean, I realized I did cover them up with rocks, you know, to make it look more like a rock pile rather than just, you know, a little cave just sitting there, you know, and tried to build it into the scape, which helps a lot. But the fact that it's not just some man-made looking thing you know, peeking out through the rocks that I'm having to really work to disguise. Really goes a long way. Got this one over here, and I think it turned out great as far as incorporating the caves, and I think the scape itself looks a lot better than it did before. I've got room for some plants back there in the back. I'm hoping that now that this area here is opened up, that this dwarf sage will just kind of fill all in through the front here and get a nice grass carpet going on now that that's opened up a lot more. I do need to still scrape some algae off the glass. I got some more here on the front glass. I need to get that scraped still. I need to get a snail trap going on in here too. Got all kinds of Malaysian trumpet snails. But overall, I'm really happy with it. I like the way that this wood turned out, curving around the rock work here. I'm happy. Got our bristlenose working hard over here, and our Hemichromis male, he's working in that cave back there. He's already set up shop in there. Got the upside down cats have taken up residence here and there. You know, there's one back there in the rocks. I don't know if you can see that on camera. You can just barely see his nose in person. But I'm happy with this. Let me know what you guys think about this scape, and actually let me show you something else here real quick too. So all these rocks used to be in the tank along with the rocks that were still in there. So there's one rock in the tank that wasn't already in there, and everything else was already in there, plus all of these were in the tank too. So that shows just how much rock I took out of the tank compared to the way the scape was before. There was just so much rock in there. Plus now I've got all this rock that I can work with in other tanks too, so double bonus there. Alright guys, so let me know what you think of this tank. What else do you think this tank needs, other than, obviously, it needs more plants. I do want to put some Anubias up here on the top of the rocks, like I said already. But if there's something else that this tank needs, if there's another fish that I should put in here, let me know what you guys think I should do with this tank other than what's already going on here. This is going to remain the Hemichromis tank, so whatever does go in here needs to be sturdy enough to go in with him. But with that in mind, what ideas do you guys have? Throw those in the comments below. And also, again, let me know what you think of the caves, the reptile caves, and incorporating those into the aquascape. And again, if you're interested in those, Amazon links are in the description below. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. You're awesome. God bless you, fish nerds. I'll see you next time.